Okay. So my presentation will be about this factoring c I over do minus I. It's more like this factoring we generate by 2 minus I. But the first question is about principal ideal. For my understanding, a principal ideal is an ideal that generates by one element. For example, like A over here. So it's mean the set or that ideal set will be generated by A, such that everything will be a multiple of A, which R will be an element of set R, like that. So the other one, why this is an ideal? The condition of an ideal, it has to be R times I, that any value times with I have to be a subset of I from both left and right side. So this is an ideal because if we let an S be in the set R, and we use S, we do S times AR will be equal to AR times S, and they are all subset of I, and they are all ARS or SAR are all in I, so it's an ideal. For the second question is characterize the element in CI over 2 minus I. So we're trying here to find some of its element or the coset. If we let 2 minus I plus I, here it's all like all the set generate by this, so we can equal 0 plus I. And then if we more simplify, 2 plus I here, and then it's equal to I plus I. So we can reduce it by this. Use this to reduce everything to get all the elements over here. So if we reduce it with the multiple with 2, so they all have to be multiple of 2. To reduce, if can, they just stay there. So that's mean there, and all the odd integer will be one character of this element. 5 and so on, all the odd number. And for the even integer, we have more, we can reduce it. So this 4 plus I, we can use it to 2 plus I, which is 2 plus 2, it's I times I plus I, which is equal to I square plus I, which I square we all know is equal -1. So that's going to be -1 plus I. So that's also can be the other form there. It's negative, all the negative integer, negative odd integer. and so on. Other form can be if we see 6 plus I, that's here is a multiple of 6 plus I. Here I times 3, that's going to be equal 3I plus I. So 3I, there's another form. Here that's going to be 3I. We can start from I, so that's another form. Here we already get I plus I, 3I plus I, and so on. All the coefficient of I will be odd integers. And what other form we can find? We can find the, let's see, with the 8 plus I. Here we get 2 plus I, with I plus I. It's going to be equal I squared times I plus I. I squared is -1, so -1 times I, it's negative I plus I. So this is going to be all the negative. So the negative I will have the negative integers as coefficient. That's another form. And how about we do is there any another way, another form that we can find? You can also find the odd integer plus the coefficient of I, like this, plus I plus I. This can be another form. 3 plus 3I plus I, there, like that. So if it's the positive way, it's going to be probably -2 all the coefficient will be and probably also positive and negative plus I. And negative positive. Coefficient will all odd number because we can't reduce it anymore. We stay like that. So I think this is all gonna be the character of the element of this factoring. Like that. Now I'm going to demonstrate how we add and multiply. We can only use few maybe we can use like this one, I plus I, I square plus I I think only some few. How about we do also negative I plus I. About 1 plus I. About negative 1 plus I. About negative 1, negative I. And how about 1 minus I? So let's find this out. But let's use this big example to demonstrate the. Let's first use the addition. I plus I squared plus, not I square. So that's same thing. This and they are the same. Negative I plus I. So it's gonna be negative I, 1 plus I, negative 1 plus I, negative 1, negative I, and 1 minus I. So if we plus, here is I, is 1 plus I, 1 plus I, 1 minus I, here is 1 plus 1 plus I, it's equal to plus I, 2 is equal I, the plus I is equal to I, but we know 2 is I, so it's gonna be I square, which is negative 1. I mean negative 1 over here. Over there will be just I, because here 1 plus negative I will cancel out. Here we'll cancel out the 1, we get negative I. Here is negative 1. Here it's gonna be 2 minus I, which is gonna be 2 is I minus I, equal to 0. Oh, it seems like this is 0 over there. We go here, 1 minus I, 0. Here, so I we're gonna be negative 2I. Negative 2I, which is negative I square. I square is negative 1, so it's going to be 1. So like that. Hope it's. How about multiplication? Multiplication will be, let's use like 1 minus I times 1 plus I would be equal 1 times 1 is 1 plus I, negative I, minus I square, which is just cancel 1, that one is -1 times negative is positive, so it's gonna be 2, but we know 2 is equal I, so this is gonna be I. So I hope this demonstrates how to multiply. If you maybe make it more clear, let's multiply the addition. So if we use the same example, 1 minus I plus 1 times I, so all we do is plus it. So 1 plus 1, the same, it's 2. Negative I plus I will be cancelled out, so but we know 2 is equal I. We know 2 is equal I from there. We do it here.